Good evening, everybody. It's Reeve. I'm back and I am about to do an update on, I'm just going to also check on Facebook and see what's going on, because what I've done is I've switched over to my computer from the lot. So if anybody was on the live talk a little while ago, thank you for joining me. It's been a really amazing evening, but I'm just going to pull Facebook up on here so I can watch the comments, because I'm now on the other computer. And I am going to wait until we have some people in the room, build some excitement up. So I want you to share this as you're going along. And I am going to tell everybody about the upcoming book, which is due out in roughly 2 weeks' time. I'm expecting it to be 2 weeks today, but it might not be the definite date yet. So I don't want to fully announce the date. And I can't believe that a few weeks ago, in fact, to be honest, it was 8 weeks ago, I was really struggling with work in a job that I wasn't going to enjoy. I was struggling with the training, and I was really upset about life, the way everything had been this year. And yet somewhere inside me was this spark saying, you still need to do the book. And tonight, I am going to be telling you the title of the book and showing you the cover of the book. So let's get this shared on Facebook and get everybody tagged in. I'm just going to tag some people in if I can. I'm not sure how to do that with these when you're doing it from StreamYard. I just want to tag in. I was really upset about life, the way everything had been this year. Let me turn my volume down. I want to tag my son in because I'd like him to come in and watch it if he can. So bear with me, and we are going to talk about this book. So it's been, oh, hi, John. Nice to see you. I finally got my comments up. I'm trying to watch what was going on down here. I just want to share with my son, Matthew Reeve, because he's the one this journey's been about. Righty. And right, nearly there. So it's really exciting to say that considering where I was 2 months ago, struggling with life, struggling with the fact that I'd had a breakup, I'd lost my job, I'd lost my house, I'd lost my marriage this year, and I was just generally struggling. And I still had this spark saying, you must go and do the book. You must go and write this book, and you've still got to share this information. And it's all about tackling teenage depression. And if there is any year that there has been a need for teenagers needing information and support about depression, it has to be this year. Because as it is, they struggle with life. And you think about, they have some of the biggest challenges in life as it is. We all face difficult changes, like I think I'm losing my internet. No, we're back. I thought for a minute I was losing the internet. So as it is, teenagers face some of the biggest challenges there are, in that they're trying to deal with their hormones. They've already had to go through the transition of going from a child to a teenager. Now they're trying to transition from being a teenager to an adult, perhaps changing schools. They're having to pick their year options for exams. They're having to study. They're having to deal with social issues at school, trying to learn to communicate effectively with adults, which is almost like a completely different world for them. And then they're trying to move into further education or into jobs. As they're moving from school into college, university, or into jobs, they're trying to deal with new social circles, maybe even having to move away from home, having to learn to deal with their own finances, and their little worlds and their little brains are so overwhelmed. And it's so easy to overlook them, look at their problems as being, oh, it's just teenage problems, they all go through it. When actually, these are genuine problems that even you or I would struggle with. So this is what this book is about, is helping them. What I've done is I've created a model which helped my son, because my son was going through suicidal depression for a number of years. And it got to a point where I was struggling to teach him how to understand his own emotions. And I thought, I need a visual way to teach him. And if you look, if I can point the right way, right up here in the corner of the screen, I'll get it right. This little picture, I can never do this on here. This little picture up here, cycle. And that was the beginning of something that went way beyond what I expected to create. All I wanted to do was to make sure that my son was safe, and that every day he came home in one piece, that he didn't take his own life, that he didn't hurt anybody else. I just wanted him to stay safe. And that was the reason for me starting to talk to him in terms of colours, right? We have 4 core emotions. And the only reason we change between emotions is because something changed. And from there, I started to look at what was changing. And I began to think, do you know what? I'm going to take this onto a screen share for you, because that would be 3 weeks ago, I contacted Tosin Oganusi and said, right, I want to write my book. I've got my model and I've got 3 parts to it, but I need help to make sure it's all set correctly before I put the book out. And this is just 3 weeks ago we did what I'm about to show you. And I've never done this on here before, so I've no idea how this is going to work. Application window, this one, share. Right. As far as I make out here, you can see this, and I have no idea how to get back out of it. But this is... No, it's not showing on the live stream. If anybody can see the... I'm trying to share a window with you, but it's not coming up. Let me come back out. Let me give it one more go. Share screen. Let's just share and share audio. No, it's not letting me do it. Right, more technical issues. I need to do some more learning. Oh, it's come up now. I think what I'm trying to show on here is just lagging way behind. Let me give this another go. Bear with me. Oh, you could see it. Thank you. It's just obviously very delayed before it's showing on my phone. Let's try it again. I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it worked. Right. Share screen. Application window. No, my application's disappeared. We will get there. Bear with me. Bear with me. Got it. There we go. Right. So I now know that even though I can't see it on my phone because that's lagging, I know you can see it, which is brilliant. So 3 steps. The little cycle that I showed you on the top of the main window there is encompassed within this part of the model. And the first step to teaching teenagers about how to manage their own emotions is to help them become aware of what their emotions are. So what I thought was my top cycle, that emotional cycle was the top part of my model, now became a sub-lesson to the fact that the overall concept of the book that I've written is about teaching people about their emotional cycle, to understand what their emotions are and how they work, how they move around that cycle, and to recognize where on that emotional map they are at any given point, and to recognize how they then want to work themselves back to the place they want to be. So if they're stuck in angry or sad or depressed mode, it's about helping them to understand where they are and what the options are for moving back to being happy. So that's when the second part of the emotional cycle comes into play. When we're looking at the very center or the outer edge of the emotional cycle chart, it's about understanding inner and outer changes. Because as I said, the only reason we change between emotions is because something changed. But it's recognizing that an entire global possibility of change and trying to put it into a book or trying to teach it to my son first was like, where do you begin? How do you literally say, this is the world, so much can change, but here's how to work it out? And I learned over time to recognize that there are actually only 5 reasons why emotions change. And that was to look at what changed helps. And this was the second part of my system, which Tosin's helped me put into this, is the helps. HELPS is the acronym for the only 5 changes in the whole wide world that you could ever face. And when you can recognize what changed to make your emotions changed, you can start look at what you need to do to change your emotions back again. But it goes a little bit further than that, and I love this. If something in life has changed, it's happened for a reason. And when something's happened for a reason, it's because there's a root cause. And that's the third part to the system. And again, I'd recognized that the third part, the root cause, had only 5 possibilities. And every single one of these 5 possibilities, the FLITE, every one of those is a root cause for this one, or this one, or this one, or this one, or this one. That sounds a really strange way to teach it. It makes more sense in the book. So basically, when you understand why your emotions are changed, you look at what changed and what the root cause is. When you know what the root back to a place where you're starting to take control of it, or they are teenagers. So this is where the book has come about. Very briefly to run you through this, the first part of the model here breaks down into looking at the core emotions and inner change and outer change. And there's a lot to talk about within those. The second part is where we look at I've got these back to front here. And this one should be a different colour. Right, I've messed something up here. Ignore that, I'm going back to this one. I've been trying to redo this afternoon because I've got to send the graphics in to the publisher. And I'm glad I showed this to you first before I send it off, because I've got to do some repair work on it. I can see what I've done now. Right, I need to recolor this. So we have the core emotions is the first thing about awareness, recognizing what they are and what your inner and outer changes are. When you know what the changes are, you know your options. And then you're looking at your options in how they affect, each of these affects your emotions, and how dealing with these can resolve emotions is a good start to resolving depression, stress, anxiety, and understanding it. And then looking at the root cause and finding out the keys in how to make changes to your options so you can bring your emotional cycle back to a place you're happy to be. So that in a nutshell is, right, I'm just going to come off, stop sharing a minute, come back to main screen. I have no idea how to get back there, but we'll find a way. Here we go. Hi, I'm back. So there's so much been going on, and that has translated into the structure of the book, which over the last 2 weeks, I have literally worked on solidly. Oh, thank you, Tosin. This is beautifully explained, Kay. I'm learning from the best over here. Yeah, first attempt in learning. And that is exactly it. That's the first time I have actually tried to explain that model to anybody since creating it was Tosin. And it's based on the back of the 3-tier system that I've developed over about 5 years. And it's come to that. So I've got something coachable. That Tosin very kindly put into a book structure for me, which I then bullet pointed out, which came to 10 pages before finally packing it out with information. And I think the final book is going to be looking at somewhere close to 300 pages. It's phenomenal. And I feel like, oh my God, there is so much more I could have put in. And I feel like I've only given the briefest of information on every one of those points all the way through the system. And it's going to be close on 300 pages. And Laboshi, bless her, Laboshi, who is my book agent, she keeps saying it's going to be a bit of a chunky book. And so we haven't yet set the price because we knew there was going to be a lot of information in it. We have an idea what it is, but tonight is about just raising awareness. This is the book. This is what I've been working on. This is what I finished this morning. Oh my God. It has been a really intense journey. But that is the model within the book. What I want teenagers and young people and their parents to understand, so they can reconnect with each other, reconnect with themselves, and reconnect with life, and start to steer their own emotions and not let their emotions steer them. So without much further ado, because I'm aware that this is meant to be a quick book launch and I'm talking away here, and I'm loving it because I've been holding this in for so long. You have no idea. I've been for 5 years trying to get to this point, and I'm here. I don't want to let go of the moment. I'm really grateful. But what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to pop over onto another part of the StreamYard here. Here we brand new. And are you ready for this? Because I'm about to show you what the new cover is going to look like. Do you know what? First of all, I'm going to tell you the title. I have found so many titles for this book. It's unbelievable. I started with things like Teenage Toolbox or Teen Toolbox, but that was already taken. And I thought, oh, mental health first aid or emotional first aid. That's right, emotional first aid. I know somebody's already got courses on that. And so I went on, and then it was like, oh, it's emotional intelligence for teenagers or emotional awareness. And I'm like, that's just not very exciting. And I feel like I've spent 5 years just racking my brain for an exciting title, and every single one of them has either been taken or just didn't seem to work. And then we came up with one the other week, and I kept saying to Tosin, I kept saying, right, this is what I want you to imagine. On one end of the journey is a teenager stuck in a rut, in the pits, rock bottom. Life just seems dark, and they don't know how to get out of it. On the other end of that journey, everybody's telling them there's light at the end of the tunnel. You can do it, and you just got to work through it. And it's all very well telling them that, but nobody's telling them how to get through that tunnel and into the light. And I said, whatever my title is, I want it to reflect that part in the journey that transforms their life. The part in the tunnel where someone's holding their hand or shining a torch for them, about reconnecting them with life. And I said, it's about me as a mum. I was stuck outside the bedroom door of my son. I said, he was stuck inside with depression, and it was like trying to communicate through a door. And it's like that door was blocking in the middle of the tunnel. I said, and to me, it's like about beyond the bedroom door. And we went, oh, that's the title. And the first 3 people I shared it with went, doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, this is not the title. Where do we go from here? So I got on the phone to my son and said, Matthew, I said, this has been your journey, and the book is about the system I've created to help him, but it was his journey. And I said, you were the one stuck in a rut. I said, you're the one that's come through to that light at the end of the tunnel. I said, tell me what it felt like going through that. And he said, it felt like my brain had been chained up for ages, and finally I broke free of the chains. And so we sat down with that concept and blasted words onto a piece of paper, and within about 15 minutes picked 2 words like that and went, that's the title. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to present to you, and it's now going to come up on screen here. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, here we go. Brain Unchained. Here it is. This is the book. Brain Unchained, shining a torch on depression and lighting the way to emotional awareness in teenagers and young adults. This is the book. This is the illustration that Rebecca Osborne has most brilliantly put together on the back of the concept. Please put your comments up. Let me know what you think about it as well, what you think about the title, what you think about the cover, because it's not too late to change it before it goes to publishers. If you think there's something needs to be different, please tell me. But also, please tell me if you like it. So this is the title of the book, Brain Unchained, because Matthew said that that's how it felt, like he was stuck inside his head with all of these emotions going on. He said, and then it was like, as he started to learn, it was like the chains fell away. It was like Brain Unchained. So that is the title of the book, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited that in approximately 2 weeks' time, this will be available on Amazon. So there we go. Wow. I did not want to let go of that moment. I still don't. That's been a long time in the making. And I am, on the back of tonight's gratitude video earlier, I am really, really grateful to everybody who's been a part of this journey. I'm really grateful to my son, Matthew, in particular, because as much as it's been a very difficult journey for him, he is fully aware of everything I'm doing, why I'm doing it, why I'm sharing stories about his past as well as our past as a family. And he knows and understands that by doing this, we will help other people. And he knows he's not the one to stand up here and talk about it, but he knows that what he learned through this system, what I shared with him, and the strategies that I used to stand beside him on his journey, walk with him, shine a torch in the darkness, he knows that that can help other people too. And he knows the power of it, and he wants to see it happen. He wants his journey to have a purpose. And when I used to phone Matthew every single day, when he was in that deepest, darkest depression, he said to me afterwards, and this is why we mention a torch on the cover and about shining a light. He said, every time you phoned, he said it was like shining a light in the darkness. He said, some days I took steps while I could see the light. He says, some days I could see the light and I know I didn't take steps. He said, and it might have felt to you as a mum like you were ringing for nothing. He said, but the fact that you rang, it was like shining a torch, and I could plan the steps for the next day because I knew where I was going. And it's so, so lovely to hear his feedback now and to hear how this helped him and to know how incredibly resilient he has become, that I actually now see him handling situations that are really heavy and frustrating and annoying and difficult with work situations and life around him. And I see him handling them better than so many adults that I've known. And it's just absolute testament to the effort that he's put in to learning and understanding this as well. But initially, it was about getting him in connection with that personal development. He'll now pick up any other personal development book and read it. But to start with, I just needed to get him off the ground of that pit that he was stuck in and start climbing out of it. And this system was the way we did it. I have had an incredibly exciting evening. I've had an incredibly exciting 28 days doing the live video challenge. So for anybody who feels they need help or would like other inspiration, this book launch is about the book that's coming in 2 weeks. But at the same time, tonight also marks the end of the 28-day live video challenge for mental health awareness on my wall. And that is 28 hours of free mentoring on video there. If you need it, please go and watch it, listen to it, listen to the comments. There's books shared, like personal development books shared in the comments on nearly every video. And the people who've been the speakers on these are there to reach out to. So if there's anything you need in the meantime, as a parent, as a worker, as a friend, as a partner to somebody, whatever it is you're going through, please go and use the videos as well. And keep an eye open because I will be doing a lot more updates over the next 2 weeks about the book. So I'm going to go out on a high once again. Here is the book cover, Brain Unchained. I am so excited about this and I love that cover. I love that cover. Thank you to everybody who's watched in tonight. I can see there's lots and lots of comments and I'm now going to go and read them all and respond in due course. But thank you very much, everybody, and see you all soon. All right. Bye.